little bit late. Uh, Life happens. I got delayed with something or the other, had a few errands to run, etc., etc. Anyway, so here I am, and we are going to talk about shoulder dislocation. So we're doing a series on shoulders, different conditions that happen in the shoulder. So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Swati. I'm a physical therapist, and I do these videos so that you can you can figure out what's happening when you have pain in your shoulder or you have some issues where you can't move your shoulder around, so that you're able to better understand the issue that's going on, what are the symptoms that are happening, why are they happening, and then you can sit with your healthcare provider, your doctor, your physiotherapist, your orthopedician, and come up with a plan to tackle the problem at hand. So, just something to help you out with your shoulder problems. Okay. So, if you are watching me on the live, please say hello so I know you're here. If you're on the replay, please comment #replay so I know you've been here. I'll go back in and say hello to you on the comments. All right. So, let's talk about shoulder dislocations today. Now, shoulder dislocations are not so uncommon. However, let's talk a little bit about shoulders and how dislocation happens. Okay, so shoulder joint is one of the most mobile joints in the body. Like you can rotate your shoulder all the way around. When you look at cricketers or baseball players, right? So how? Oops, just 1 second. My phone just paused. Somebody call me. Oops, sorry. So when you have baseball player or cricket players, when they throw the ball, and do you see how your arm goes full range? Yeah. So this is the sort of mobility that we have in our shoulders. Okay. So what does this mobility come at the cost of? The stability in the shoulder, right? So basically what happens is our shoulders are not as stable as our other joints, like your elbows, your hands, etc., right? Or your knees for that matter. Why? Because you remember we have spoken about the anatomy of the shoulder in our previous videos. So this is the socket here, which is a part of my trunk, right? So this is the part, this is a part of your shoulder blade that sits here. And then this long bone here, it comes and sits. This is the head of the long bone. It's like a ball. So it's a ball and socket joint. Anyway, the what I'm trying to get at is it's not a very deep joint. So this socket is not very deep and the ball's going in there getting all stable. No, this socket is actually quite shallow and the ball's sitting here. So you see the chances of slipping off, which is dislocation, is quite high. However, our bodies are very smart. We have a lot of ligaments, and we have the joint capsule that's basically a covering over the joint. We have a lot of structures in this area that prevent the instability of the shoulder. However, in case of dislocations, suppose you fall on the arm or you have an injury, we'll cover all that later. So in case of that, what happens is this ball slips off the socket, right? So basically this arm here, it comes out of its place, right? So it can go up, down, forwards, behind, depending on how you've fallen, how your injury has been. So, or it could be just, partially dislocated, not completely out. So there are different varying degrees of dislocation for the shoulder. So when that happens, what are the five most common signs? So suppose, okay, I've got a shoulder injury. Suppose I've fallen down and I've fallen on the point of my shoulder. How do I know whether I have a fracture, a dislocation, a rotator cuff injury? I mean, obviously scans will tell you, but then me myself as a person, how do I know what has happened, right? So instead of panicking, if you know these five symptoms, you know, oh yeah, I have had a shoulder dislocation. So obviously your shoulder will look out of place. So for example, if this is my ball and socket joint again, so on this side, and say my shoulder, my the long bone of my arm goes inferiorly, that is basically downwards. So what will happen is I will not have this smooth curve of the shoulder. It'll come like this and there'll be a dip, and then so basically there'll be a dip. So uh, this smooth curve of the shoulder joint will be no longer there. right? So you can actually tell that the shoulder looks out of his place, especially when you have like a full dislocation. Okay, now obviously there'll be swelling in the area, there can be bruising from the fall, there can be discoloration as well, especially if the blood supply to the area is compromised. Pain, obviously it'll be like excessive muscle spasm, the muscles all go into spasm trying to get that dislocation under control. You have excessive muscle spasm and pain because of that. You won't be able to move. Okay. And if any of the nerves, because what happens is we have nerves coming out from the neck, right? We've seen that in the cervical videos that we had done. We've done a cervical series. It's all on my YouTube. So actually, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you want to hop onto my YouTube channel and you want to have a look at the videos, it's all there. For those who are watching me on the IG, it's the link to my YouTube is in my bio. Okay, going back. So you if you have these nerves that are coming out from the neck and they travel down into the hand, if any of these nerves get irritated or compressed, you will have tingling, numbness, burning. Depending on which part of the nerve is irritated or compressed, you will have that sort of symptoms in your down into your arm. Okay. You can have weakness as well, like a sudden weakness if that nerve is too compressed there. Okay. Now, another thing is people usually get confused between, do I have a fracture or do I have a dislocation? Now, fracture usually will be more down here. Dislocations right in your shoulder joint here, the glenohumeral joint as we call it, right? So fracture is definitely different. You will know from, sometimes people will say, oh, I felt my arm slip down, or I heard that little pop there and something happened, my arm went out of its place. So the feeling is completely different. And obviously then your doctor is going to tell you, he's going to examine you, your physiotherapist can help you out. So if you suffer from shoulder dislocation, or if you're interested to know more about shoulder dislocation, I have written a blog on this. I will post the link in the description soon, or it'll be in my bio for those who are watching me on IG, Instagram. So yes, so you can see more details in the blog. And yeah, that was it. That's a short video that I wanted to do today. And if you have any questions, as usual, feel free to ask me. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have a good rest of the week. Bye.